Hello, my name is Brant Hutt. My channel is Discerning What is True, and today is Monday, the 27th day of November 2023. Well, it's about 10 minutes after 9 o'clock here. I was hoping that Phil would be here. I haven't seen Phil, so I don't know where he's at. He might be playing with the cat. Sometimes that's what happens. But we'll wait here for a little bit and see what happens. Um, um, we'll just give it about 4 or 5 minutes to see what happens here. I don't understand. He might be having an issue with his internet. I don't know. Just see, just wait here for a little bit. Just be patient, and if not, we'll do something else. Um, a little bit here. Yeah, I sent him two messages here. I sent him one probably about 20 minutes till 9, and then I also sent him a message about probably a couple of minutes ago. So I don't know what's going on. So we'll just see what happens. Um, he may be with the cat. That cat comes by and visits him about this time, and he tends to feed her or him, whatever, him or her, whatever. So yeah, I got a chance to Layla to yesterday afternoon watch Steve and Phil's message from Friday, and it made more sense. It helped me out a lot better. I kind of understood it better than actually. I think what happened simply is I got caught up in the moment, just simply being live, just with them talking, and wasn't really sometimes listening like I should be. So that's I decided yesterday to play back the video and I listened to it. It made a lot more sense for sure. So do you have a good weekend? Did you guys have a good weekend, I should say? That is, here is somewhat rainy and cold. When I say cold, it was in the mid 40s yesterday, kind of rainy, drizzly, kind of winter weather, although it's not winter yet here. So, yes, yes, definitely, Layla. Layla. Um, sometimes, sometimes you just simply need to get by yourself sometimes and just listen to it too, also. I know. Yes. So, what is the name of you know, uh, I think you read quite a bit of literature, is what I understand. I'm guessing this, Layla, to do with the particular Gnostic pictures that was showing the boat with the woman on the boat with the three candles. What is that story? What is that referring to? Because I think you guys, I think Phil was talking about that, I guess, with Steve on Friday. Um, I'm guessing it's English lit. I'm not sure. And I forgot who the particular artist is. I want to say Waysworth, Wordsworth, something of that nature, in the back of my head. Also, I know that he sent me something also to do with, I guess it was Saturday. He sent me something. I don't know. He tends to watch quite a bit of videos, what they call near-death experiences. I don't know if anybody has looked into that. Um, that's something that he has shared with me before. How people share what happens to them when they pass for some time, and then they come back here. Um, it's kind of interesting to see what was taking place and what he was sharing about. So, this particular woman who eventually shared her story. It's a particular channel. A guy does this, interviews these people. Yeah, sorry, the Lady of Shalott. Yeah, what is Shalott? What is that, Layla? Is that a particular place? I think you and Phil were talking about it last time, maybe to do with a woman in a castle or something of that nature. I don't know the story. I'm sorry. I guess I should read that too. So I guess I'm gonna maybe maybe I should send another message to him. I don't know what's going on. It's really weird. This has never been this late before. It's like it's 9:20. Maybe something happened. Hopefully nothing bad. Um, he may not have internet. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So Alfred Tennyson, or English literature. What is GCSE, Layla? And there are two mystery people here. I don't know who they are. Um, besides me and Layla, two other people here. Actually, three total people here. Hey, I was looking at the painting last night, and I was just really they're like I'm trying to figure out what the three candles are about. And she had only one lit. Also, she was, I think, some of the part of it simply is that her being in a boat by herself reveals that, and it looks like it's getting dark, or it is dark, and it kind of basically like you're looking for, okay, general certification of secondary education. Okay, okay, all right. Um, it's just kind of interesting to see the colors. Her being in white basically means, in a lot of ways, innocence. Um, uh, Lack of a better word, virgin, if that makes any sense. And then um, the candle, only one candle lit. So I'm trying to remember, is that to do with Trinity, the three? Um, he may have he's spoken about it before, but it was only one lit. So it's kind of really, I was thinking, okay, it's almost as though it's reveals of who we are as we are looking. It's like a pilgrimage, um, a, um, a walk that we're seeking truth. And that's what I sense it with her, that she's seeking truth. But I have never read the poem, so that I think the poem would actually say a lot. And Alfred Tennyson, I don't know what time he wrote, such and such poem, such and such. Um, so, but anyway, I was going to say simply is that it reveals a lot, probably about us, because we're on this sort of pilgrimage trying to find truth in our lives, trying to find it, and we don't know which way to go. Um, but I know that Steve and him talked about it Saturday also. I wanted to talk to him about some things. I got a couple of things I wanted to talk to him about. What I would call, well, some questions I had here. I think that I was thinking about simply as the question was simply is not for a motivation that is in with our lives. That is that isn't fear itself a way of getting us to be motivated, in our lives to, the fear of the unknown, seeking after what is unknown out there? Um, is that a motivator? So hmm, I don't have his phone number neither. So all I have is his email. So back to the near-death experience. I know that as I was reading this particular this lady, this guy does interviews with these people. He's in New Zealand, I think, and she is now, I think, 70, 75, 73 years old. This occurred in her life many years ago when she was trying to take care of a particular friend. Um, and he got very sick. And in fact, it was going to be like a couple of months of, self care. And it turned out to be 8 months of self care for this particular person when he passed. And then she got the flu and got really, really sick. I don't know, it was psychologically affected her. And she was taken uh, to the hospital, and it wasn't giving her much chance of actually living. She got pneumonia and something else to do with lungs. I guess it was to do with her not being able to breathe. And they said, well, we've got something here that maybe could help us. We would have to use some type of experimental drugs or something of that nature. And then what happened was simply is that she was told that we're going to put her in like a comatose type of deal. They're going to have to, her brain would go out for a while. And she, uh, she, she passed. She passed away, that is, or she felt that she did. And I won't tell more of the story because it goes into a lot of stuff, but just simply is that I think it has a lot to do with what I would call what are your thoughts when you pass away? But I don't know for sure about that. Um, but I think that simply, generally, if the idea simply is that you're fearful at that time, you may maybe manifest that when you go over, so to speak. So anyway, and then she eventually came back. Um, she was a Catholic lady. Um, and she thought she was going to heaven, and it turned out to be that it was hell. And she was scrambling to get back, and then she finally found a place that was basically, I gather, it was heaven. And she was didn't want to go back. She didn't want to come back to the earth. She wanted to be there because it was just she was in harmony with herself. And they said, no, you have to go back. You have more lessons to learn, so to speak. And so she was sent back. Kind of interesting. Well, I don't think it's the cat today. It must be something else because he would not be with that cat now. He must have forgotten. I don't know what else to say. I don't know. Um, Trying to see if anything he sent to me, and I don't see anything here. Yeah, I was going to check Phil Langdon on Facebook, and I just realized that Phil's not on Facebook. So that kind of, I was going to see if I could communicate with him there. Um, Layla, what did you think? I know you. Do you want to continue to wait? Um, there were a couple other people here, but they didn't chime in, so I don't know who they were. I don't know if Mr. Mensda was here or not. He usually greets me, so I don't know if it was him. Um, so I don't know who those two people were. Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at the poem here. The Lady of Shalott. She left the web. She left the loom. She made 3 paces through the room. She saw the water lily bloom. She saw the helmet and the plume. She looked down to Camelot. Out flew the web and floated wide. I'm sorry, floated wide. The mirror cracked from side to side. The curse is come upon me, she cried. The Lady of Shalott, Shalott. The Lady of Shalott existed in 2 versions: a 20 stance poem published in 1833, and the revised version was 19 stanzas, which is the one readers are most familiar with, which was published in 1842. The poem, partly inspired by Arthurian King Arthur's legend, hints the presence of the knight Lancelot, and partly by the epic 16th century poem The Fairy Queen, written by Edmund Spenser, has been read various allegory about the world of fancy and the world of reality, and as a result to the Industrial Revolution, with the particular world, the Lydiate world of magic and legend, which Tennyson depicts being threatened by the arrival of new forces. Undoubtedly one of Tennyson's greatest poetic achievements. So apparently, is what I see here with the threat of the Industrial Revolution would be a change in the way people would be living, which definitely are, what definitely took place for sure. Here in the United States, it did for sure. Um, people basically it started in 1830s, 1840s here in the United States in what we call the New England part of the northeastern part of the sector of the United States, and then what transpired simply was that after the war between the states, the South continued to be somewhat what I would call still agrarian, that is farming, while the northeastern part of the country continued to grow. And eventually, probably in the early 1900s, that change began to take place with textiles here in the South, plants that were started building here. There's a textile mill that was here, still is, but no longer operates about 5 or 6 miles from here. And it was built after, again, the war between the states. And was shut down roughly back in 2005 or 6 due to a railroad accident. A major railroad accident took place here that killed, I think, 8 or 9 people in this area because of a chlorine leak, a chemical leak that took place in this area. And many residents had to be taken out of their houses and taken somewhere else. Yeah, maybe reschedule the meeting with Phil would work best if you have had no contact yet. Yeah, yeah, I don't know what happened. Kind of I had some questions here. There was a particular thing I got on the internet here. I found from a particular person I thought was pretty relevant, and actually was hoping to get to that one because it was really kind of the statement was simply, "Mind is servant to the heart, but mind must die in the heart, and intellect can recognize this enough to see the realization." This is someone conversing back and forth here. I don't exactly agree with what this particular person is saying. Um, a lot of it is a poo poo on the mind. That's what's happening. I see in our in our world today. Most of it's now become very emotional. The heart. There's nothing wrong with the heart. I'm not saying anything's wrong with the heart. You have to have the two. Um, in some ways, but what's happened is what I call these two pillars, and one is the head and one is the heart. And what's taking place simply is people are being divided on one way or the other. And I believe that's done on purpose to keep people from finding the truth. And I was hoping to, yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand why Phil hadn't contacted me because it's something. Because last night he conversed with me, or no, it was Saturday night. He sent something to me, and that was it. He said, "Yeah, I'll see you Monday, such and such." So I don't know what's happened, but he normally would contact me and let me know he couldn't come because he's done that before. Um, but I found this conversation kind of interesting as two people are dialoguing here, and it's kind of concerning because simply is that the next thing they say is unknown is terrifying to the intellect. To create illusions, to create certainty. Intellect is linked to the ego. Okay, so this is whole. I think the fallacy of thinking today is that the ego is a bad thing, which we develop the ego because of what I understand simply is because of trauma in our lives as little boys or little girls. Something happens because in reality we came from spirit. We came from spirit, and what's transpired simply is that we came here and we think we're still in, we think that everything's supposed to be like it was when we were in spirit. That is, we were together with God. And there's a thinking that's the way life is going to be here, and suddenly life is not that way. The traumas take place, and we're not ready for them, especially with parents who are not aware themselves. And they do things and cause things, and we all go through it. I mean, I went through it when I was younger too, as a child, and didn't understand. And my background is to do with grew up in a Christian home, grew up in a home that basically believed in all that, tremendously what we call a Protestant faith, to the point that simply is that at a very young age, at 4 years old, I was traumatized, and I was traumatized at a church. And I've shared this story with Phil, and I won't go long in it, but I just thought I'd share a little bit here just to give you an idea of what's transpired. But the point simply is that it the preacher was preaching about hell, and the preacher was preaching so much about it to the point that it terrified me. To the point simply is that um, I was thinking I was going to hell when I died. And so what transpired was when the service was over, I was crying, and I remember everything, just about everything that took place. There was the songs that were basically to get you feeling, they do that in a way of motivating you to come out of your seat, such and such. But anyway, the point simply is that I wasn't looking for my mother for comfort. I actually looked for my dad. So I recognized that even at that age that I was wanting to get out of that place. Okay, so I ran to my dad instead of my mom. It's like when you go to your mom as a child, it's when you skin your knee or you hurt yourself or whatever, or you feel bad, you're sick or whatever, you go to your mom and she will take care of you. But when this realization was made, was I realized it somewhat at that age, but didn't understand, was that I was being traumatized. And so I looked at my dad, and basically, I was wanting to escape. Let's get out of here. Let's go, Dad. Let's go. Give me. I don't want to be a part of this place. But my parents didn't recognize that. You know, my parents continued to take me to church, such and such, and all my life until about 40 years old, I came to recognition that something's not right. So, but yeah, I don't know. I was hoping we'd meet because he said something about it to Steve that he was going to be pretty busy in December. Um, and so I was thinking that it might be the last time we get a chance to speak to him. Maybe this end of this week. Maybe I think that Steve wanted to meet with him again this week. He mentioned that also. So I don't know what's going to transpire there. I was just going to basically, we were going to meet this week, and I was going to talk to him and see what was his schedule like for the future. So I work tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to do it tomorrow. So it'll be later on the week. So I'm sorry, Layla, and I'm sorry for the rest of the audiences here. I know that 2 or 3 people showed up here. It's kind of a bummer because, but I actually I like this group in a lot of ways, smaller group, because we can also talk about more deeper questions somewhat. Not that they can't do that with Steve, but Steve has a lot more people who are involved, and that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. But I just simply I like you can get you can ask not you can't ask personal questions with Steve, but there's a lot more people there that are involved in his group because he's got 3 or 4 thousand people who are a part of his group, such and such. He talks about these things. So anyway, I'm rambling. Yeah, I really wanted to talk to him about this whole thing, which conversation here, because it really was. 'Cause I just saw. I get this. I get the sense that ego's bad, but ego is actually a protective type of thing for a child. Um, yes, it's fictitious. Yes, I understand that, but it's the only way sometimes a child can actually somewhat defend itself at that early age. So. So I appreciate everyone that's been here today. I'm sorry for what's happened. I really am disappointed. I don't know what's happened. I don't know, But anyway, I'll try to get a hold of Phil and see what we can do in the later part of this week, and I'll let everybody know. Okay. So thank you for being here, and good seeing you, Layla. I wish you a beautiful day today, and Yeah, I think it's true that we are sensitive to what is happening around us and can feel intentions from others, even if it is without full understanding. Yeah, I know that simply even at 4 years old, I recognized that basically, like I said, I went to my dad. I went to him to basically, I didn't go to my mom. I went to my dad. I distinctly remember that. That's one of the big memories of my life. Is I remember that. And yet I stayed in churches, because my parents continued to go to church. And naturally, you go to church because you're told many things like honor your father and your mother, da 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 da. But obviously, you have to because you're only 5 or 6 years old, so you're not going to be able to fend for yourself. Yeah, we are sensitive, but I think it is sensitivity, yes, for sure. But I think it's a lot too that we've just come back here again in the spiritual, from the spirit world, and we still don't understand where we're at. Um, and a lot of us, almost just almost everybody on this planet doesn't know where we're at. I mean, they don't. They don't understand, and I wouldn't understand a couple years ago. So, um, and but yes. So I'm holding people up so that you guys might have to do something, but I appreciate you all being here. I'm sorry what happened. I have no idea. It's beyond my control. So again, like I said, we'll try to reschedule and see what happens. Okay. Thank you for all being here, and I appreciate everyone is here. And don't, yeah, just hang in there. And I know that life is tough here, especially for the last few years. Um, there's a lot more pressure on us now. I think that's the reason for taking. I think that's part of what's going on in the on the earth. Uh, Many people are suffering. Um, and as I was watching, listening to this near-death experience deal with this lady, it explains simply is that we need to be, and I even see this in my own life that I'm not so loving sometimes. I can be very cruel sometimes, not feeling for other people, and it's kind of spoke to me simply is that I don't need to. I need to understand that people are hurting themselves. They're hurting, and they don't have an answer. They're just as lost as I have been, and still lost. You see, trying to seek the truth. So, so I wish you guys a good day. You take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. All right. Bye bye. Thank you for all being here. Take care.